Hey book lovers, Victoria here and you're watching My Books and Me. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 7 books that I'm planning on reading in 2017. These are books that I have owned for well over a year now. Some of them a lot longer than that. They are books that I was really excited to read at the time I got them. I just haven't got around to reading them yet. They are books that a lot of people really love. Some of them are parts of series that have quite a few books in them. And one of them is one I need to reread, although it's been so long since I've read it, it's really a read now. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first book is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, the first book in the Throne of Glass series. This series is like one of the most popular series here on BookTube, and I've had this book since like the middle of 2015. I was excited to read it. I was planning on obviously reading it back when I got it. I still have not got around to reading it, and I feel like I need to start this year before any more books come out. Otherwise I'm probably never going to get to it. I've heard amazing things about this book. I've heard amazing things about this series. Two friends of mine recently read this and A Court of Thorns and Roses and really loved both books, so I just really need to get in and read something by Sarah J Maas to see if I am going to like her work. But I'm excited for this book. It's something I think I'm definitely going to like. I just need to get around to reading it, and hopefully 2017 will be the year for that. Next one is probably, I think, one of the first books I ever hauled here on BookTube back at the start of 2015, and that is Girl Online by Zoe Sugg, the first book in the Girl Online trilogy. I was excited to read it back when I bought it. I really love Zoe, and so I wanted to read her books. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on her books, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding them, and just in general the whole YouTuber book thing is iffy for a lot of people, but I've heard great things about this book, and it's a contemporary romance, which is something I'm very much into at the moment, so I think I'm going to enjoy it, and I just really should read the series this year before she somehow announces that she's also writing a 4th book or something. I don't know. Now that there are 3 books out, I think it's the perfect time to start. Like I said, I've heard really great things about it. So I'm excited to finally see what Girl Online is all about. This next book is the reread I was talking about, and it's a book I've mentioned on my channel before. It was actually a book that I said I was going to read in 2016, never got around to reading it, and that is Fallen by Lauren Kate, the first book in the Fallen series. I read this probably back in about year 8, so like 7 years ago, I think. Yeah, 7-ish years ago. And while everyone was in a Twilight phase, I was in a Fallen Angel phase. And I really loved this first book, and I went on to read the second book, but I was also reading I also started reading the Hush Hush series at the same time, which was very, very stupid because they're very, very similar books. But I was really enjoying this, and I just never got around to completing the series, and then a movie was announced for this back in like 2012, and it was meant to be released in 2015, and then it said it was going to be released in September 2016, and then September 2016 rolled around and nothing had been said, and then it was said it's either going to be released in November or February, and I thought, great, if it's February I will have time to finally read it. Nope, it was released in November, although I don't even think it's out everywhere. I don't really know. But it was released in November, and the trailer for it looked really good, so now I just need to finally reread this book, see if I still like this story, watch the movie, and hopefully continue on with the rest of the books, or I can finally get rid of the books off my shelf, because they have been sitting on my bookshelf collecting dust for so long now, and I just really want to read them and see if I like them still, because it has been so long that I don't know if this is still a story that I like, but hopefully I do. So I'm going to do it, people. I'm definitely going to be reading Fallen this year. Next book is another popular book and series and author, and that is Cinder by Marissa Meyer, the first book in the Lunar Chronicles. I own this, Scarlet and Fairest. I have for the longest time. These were, again, probably books that I hauled within the first couple of months of me being here on BookTube, and I haven't read them yet. At the time, I was really excited. I thought I was going to read them, and then I sort of went through this where I was like, I don't really feel like reading them. I don't think I'm ever going to really read them anytime soon. But since I read Heartless back in November, I really want to read more by Marissa Meyer, and I'm hoping that I will love the Lunar Chronicles just as much as I love Heartless, and I'm excited now to read these books. I've always thought they definitely sound like something I'm going to be interested in, like futuristic retellings of fairy tales. So I definitely think I'm going to like them. I hope I will, and I'm excited to finally start these. I definitely feel like Cinder is going to be, you know, one of the... I definitely feel like Cinder's going to be a book I'm going to try and get to in the first couple of months of this year. Then we have a book that's been on my bookshelf for one of the longest times ever. It's probably, I think I've owned it just about as long as I have owned Fallen, and it's a series I own the first 3 books of. It's a completed series, and it's just one that I've just kept. And it's funny because I also got a couple of books from another series that I was reading in tried to read in high school, and I recently decided I'm going to get rid of them because I don't really want to read them. But this one I kept because I'm hoping that I will get around to reading it, and that is The Alchemist by Michael Scott, the first book in the Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel series. This is about, this book follows Sophie and Josh, who are teenagers, I think, and it's about Nicholas Flamel and the legend that is Nicholas Flamel, because the records show that he died in 1418, but his tomb is empty. The legend is that Nicholas Flamel lives on, but only because he has been making the elixir of life for centuries, and the secrets of eternal life is hidden within the powerful book he protects, the Book of Abraham the Mage. In the wrong hands it will destroy the world, and that's exactly what Dr. John Dee plans to do when he steals it. And if the prophecy is right, Sophie and Josh Newman are the only ones with the power to save the world as we know it. So I started reading this back in high school. I think I got like a couple of chapters in, and I don't really know what happened. I just didn't finish it. And I had a friend at the time who read, I think, the first 4 books in this series, and she really liked it. And it sounds like something I'm going to enjoy. It's about Nicholas Flamel and magic and all that sort of stuff. It's something that I enjoy. I just need to read it. Also, the covers of these books are absolutely beautiful, and you know, it's a completed series now as well, which means it should be easy for me to catch up. They're not that long of books, they're 300 pages long. I feel like I'm going to fly through it. I think these are middle grade YA, I'm not quite sure. But I just really want to finally get around to reading these books, and now that it has been, again, it's probably been like 7 years, if it is something I'm still interested in. Otherwise, I'm going to get rid of these books. There are a couple of books and series on my shelves I have owned for the longest time thinking I'm going to read them, and I still really want to read them, and I just need to get around to reading them so I can decide whether it is something that I like. Otherwise, I can get rid of books that are taking up space on my shelf for no reason. The next book is another one where I want to read it before I watch the movie adaptation for it, and it's one that I kind of wish I'd read before now. I feel like I should have read it before now, but it's also a book that I didn't, while I wanted to read it before I sort of got back into reading, I hadn't really looked into it, what it was actually about. And since then I have taken the 5 seconds it takes to go on Goodreads and read the synopsis of this book before I obviously bought it. And I definitely really want to read it this year. I don't know, it's just a book that I feel like I should have read by now. It's a book that a lot of people have read like since I've joined BookTube, and they all absolutely loved it. And it's also an Australian author that I want to read more Australian authors, and this is one that I feel like, again, I should have read by now, and that is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I read one other Markus Zusak book before, and that was The Messenger. I read that back in high school, and that's also another one I want to read this year, but let's just move on. This one is set in 1939 in Nazi Germany, and we follow this girl Liesel, who picks up the Gravedigger's Handbook at her brother's graveside, and it starts her on her love of books and learning how to read, and on book thievery, because during this time the Nazis are trying to burn a lot of books, so Liesel sort of starts stealing books from book burnings, from the mayor's wife's library, wherever there are books to be found, but it's very dangerous. When Liesel's foster family hides a Jewish fist fighter in their basement, Liesel's world is both opened up and closed down. So it's a very dangerous time, especially to be doing anything in Nazi Germany, but to be, you know, stealing things and to be involved in this hiding of a Jewish man. You know, it's very dangerous for Liesel, and we follow her journey, and it's meant to be a really beautiful book, and the movie is meant to be really beautiful. My aunt keeps telling me to watch it, but I've always said I want to read the book first, and I really want to get to it this year. And It's a bit big, it's over 500 pages long, which is a little bit intimidating to me, but I think I'm going to try and get the audiobook for this. I definitely think I will enjoy it, but I really want to try and get this book read this year, and just to fall in love with this story, hopefully. Finally, the last book is probably one of my most recent, my most recent purchase out of all of these books, and that is The Legacy of Kings by Eleanor Herman, the first book in the Blood of Gods and Royals series. I got this in September 2015. I started reading it then, I got about 100 pages in, and I got caught up reading other things. Also, I was kind of annoyed because this is told from multiple perspectives, and there were some perspectives that I really liked, but then others I didn't so much. But this story follows Alexander the Great when he's just a teenager before he's actually Alexander the Great. We follow him on his journey of trying to prove himself to not only himself but his father. We follow Katerina, who has come to the city to murder the Queen. Jacob, who is competing in this event with Hypastian, who is the prince's best friend and a sheltered murderer. And then we also follow Zofia, who is a Persian princess and Alexander's unmet fiance. And this book is meant to be, and this series really is meant to be amazing. I have the second book already, and it's just meant to be really good. The third book is coming out this year. I've heard amazing things about it. Also, Eleanor Herman is actually a historian, so she's woven actual history into this book, which I find fascinating. I also find ancient Greek history fascinating. This era fascinates me. While I haven't actually studied Alexander the Great, I have studied Greco-Persian relations and the time just before this, and it's really interesting, and I was really enjoying this book, and I just want to go back and read it, continue on with this series, especially before the third book comes out this year. So they are 7 books that I definitely want to get to in 2017. They are definitely not the only books. I obviously want to try and read most of my bookshelf in 2017, but they are the ones that I really want to get to. They are books, like I said, that I have owned for over a year. I bought them all in 2015. Yeah. I bought them all in 2015 or earlier, and they are just books that I've heard amazing things about, that I really want to read and hopefully get into the series that are series, or decide whether they aren't something I'm interested in. I hope I do like them all, but I know that I also want to read them so that I know, while I hope I like them all, I'm not going to be disheartened if I don't like them, because then I can just finally put that series or that book to rest. I can, if I own the books or the series, I can pass them on to someone else. You know, I just want to make sure I like everything that's on my bookshelf, and I want to get to these books so badly because I've heard amazing things. That is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below some of the books you are hoping to get to in 2017, especially books that maybe you've owned or been wanting to read for ages. Make sure you check out my 2017, make sure you also check out my 2017 most anticipated releases video if you were looking for some books that are coming out in the first quarter of this year. Also check out my 2017 reading resolutions video, because I talk about all the things I want to try and achieve in 2017 regarding books and reading and booktube. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye!